Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Now, the House of Representatives, they have two ways it can punish members for bad behavior. One is expulsion, that has been used 5 times in American history. Then there is censure, which has been used more than 20 times. The last member who was censured, Congressman Charlie Rangel of New York, due to issue of finances. Now, Democrat Representative Tim Ryan of Ohio is working on the censure for Steve King, and he joins us right now via phone. Congressman, how you doing?
Hey, Roland.
So what's interesting here is that you have Republicans who all of a sudden just are grossly offended by Steve King. But this is a guy who last year endorsed a white nationalist in Canada, who endorsed white nationalists, white supremacists in Europe, who has made comments that have been degrading to Latinos, to women, to black folks, and others. So they can't act brand new on the bigotry of Steve King.
No, this has been going on for a long time, and I think it's got progressively worse in the last few years. Like most things in the country, I think the president has given a lot of cover for people like Steve King to make these comments. And, you know, that's why talking about censuring him, I think it's important for us to say, look, this is not acceptable behavior. As you stated in the opening, there have been multiple deaths and killings in the last few years, but, you know, going back to the beginning of our country's history. So this is a black mark that we need to make sure that it's not indicative. I don't want people around the world to think it's okay. He gave this interview, on foreign territory, and the president, we know what he does too. So I think we have to take a stand on this and say this is not acceptable behavior.
Now, of course, Steve King is 69 years old. He has been in Congress. I believe this is his 9th term. And what's interesting here is that even in the same article, he was critical even of, frankly, the Democratic Party, making a comment saying that like what's going on, essentially what's going on with people like you, the few number of white men, saying the Democratic Party is not a place for white men, when he looked across the aisle to see all those people of color who were elected to Congress.
Well, I mean, this is the worldview you have. I mean, there's those of us that think that our diversity is our greatest strength. It enriches us socially, culturally, economically, and that it's one of the real comparative advantages we have in the United States is our diversity. And then you have the Steve King, Donald Trump worldview that wants to go back hundreds of years and build walls and go back to days when it was only white people that were in charge. And I think that comment to me, just showed the worldview. It ripped the curtain back, and now everyone can see that what they want to do. I mean, as I said earlier, before all this stuff was kind of veiled, no one would come out and say it. We knew it was kind of happening, but no one would come out and say it. Now he comes out and he says it right in a public interview.
And has no issue with it. Now, Congresswoman Ryan, one of your colleagues, Promelia Jayapal of Washington State, was talking about the wall last night with Chris Hayes on MSNBC. And she talked about really what the motive is behind this. And it actually ties in directly with Steve King. And so I want to play that, and then we'll talk about it.
Because his ultimate goal is, as you said, to make America pure in the sense of not having immigrants, not having folks of color here, and shutting down every form of legal immigration, all to throw a bone to those people.
Now, of course, in that same article, she was talking about, of course, Donald Trump and the wall, yet in the same article, Donald Trump was talking about how much money he raised for Steve King when he visited Iowa in 2014. And this is what Steve King said. Yes, Mr. President, but I market-tested your immigration policy for 14 years, and that ought to be worth something. So, in essence, Steve King, what she just said aligns with what Steve King's view is. The reality is He doesn't want people of color in this country. He wants America to remain a white dominant nation.
There's no question about it. If you look at his rhetoric, you look at how he handled Charlottesville, you look at the race baiting that he does day in and day out, from Maxine Waters to LeBron James to, whoever he can pull up that's a person of color. And that's what he's done. And I think, him and Steve King really are on the same page. It's a long way from saying we need border security, which I think we all believe in. We need to know who's in our country. That's important for us to do it. We need to keep heroin out of our country because of the opiate epidemic. That's very important. Those are issues that we all agree on. But we're for bringing people into the country that enrich our country, economically, socially, culturally, through a legal immigration system. And as you said, and as Congresswoman said, that's not what they want. That's not what they want. They want something completely different. They want to lock the doors and go back hundreds of years to, when we were a completely white country. We're all in this together, Roland. I mean, this is the thing. If we're going to move forward as a country, it's going to be white, black, brown, men, women, gay, straight, all of us together moving forward to make our country a better country for all people who all have issues. And we can right the wrongs, but we can only do it together. Darwin said it's not the strongest that survive. It's the ones who cooperate the best. And so we've got to come together to fix all these problems, whether it's the economy or criminal justice or health care or pensions. We can't solve these being divided. We've got to come together. And the president, whether it's this issue or any others, he intentionally tries to divide us. He goes out of his way to throw gasoline on some of these fires that are burning in the United States. And this is a hot issue that Steve King has kind of ripped the curtain back and showed everybody just how they think.
So the question is this here, you're studying it. Are you going to move forward to formally try to get the House to censure Congressman Steve King?
Yeah, we're having it drafted. I think we're going to move forward with it. I'm trying to gauge some support. I would like it to be bipartisan. I'm reaching out to some Republican colleagues, too, because I think it needs to be bipartisan. We need to have the whole institution say, this is wrong. We may move forward even if we don't, but we're having it drafted right now. And, we'll see where we are in a couple days if we can get some real support for this.
All right, Congressman Tim Ryan of Ohio, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.